Your Daily 180, 180 seconds of pure Bible study.
Thank you for being with us today for this, your Daily 180 Bible study. We're in James chapter 1. Begin with me at verse number 5. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach, and it will be given to him. But let him ask in faith with no doubting. For he who doubts is like a wave of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. For let not that man suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. If we want to acquire wisdom, to understand the trials and the tribulations that we're going through, then we need to have a singleness of heart. We need to have great faith, a courageous faith in God above. And you know, the Bible is filled with people who had a great faith, a courageous faith. And one of the best examples that I know of is over in Hebrews chapter 11. As a matter of fact, Hebrews chapter 11, verse 17 beginning, kind of gives us a synopsis or a recap of a story that we read about back in Genesis chapter 22. Look at Hebrews chapter 11, beginning at verse number 17. He says, by faith Abraham, when he was tested, offered up Isaac, and he who had received the promises offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was said, in Isaac your seed shall be called, concluding that God was able to raise him up even from the dead, from which he also received him in a figurative sense. That's rather amazing when you think about this story back in Genesis chapter 22. We're told there that God had told Abraham to offer up his son, and the text begins in verse number 1 saying that God tested Abraham. And that's what trials and problems do. They test our faith. A faith that's not tested is a faith that cannot be trusted. And God tells him to take his son to the land of Moriah, to a mountain that he would specify, and to offer his son there. And I want you to notice what it says in verse number 3. So Abraham rose early in the morning and saddled his donkey and took two of his young men with him and Isaac his son. And he split the wood for the burnt offering and arose and went to the place of which God had told him. Early in the morning. Abraham didn't delay. God told him to do it, and Abraham said he was going to do it. If you want to know what it is that God wants you to do, you need to study His Word, you need to listen to His Word, and then when you determine what it is that God wants you to do, you need to make a decision to do it. Thank you for being with us today for this, your Daily 180 Bible Study.